We got Peter from Canada, who has an interesting question for us. Peter from Canada, you are live on Truth Wanted. What's up?
Yeah, man, I was wondering. I take it that you don't believe in Christianity or any other religion, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
So my question is, if you don't subscribe to these religions, which religion do you subscribe to?
We just said we didn't, though.
Yeah, we don't subscribe to any.
Well, everyone has religion, gentlemen. Which one are you?
Well, Peter, it seems that you're wrong because we don't.
I think we just falsified your thought there.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, everyone has allegiance to something. You have a cause. You're loyal to the cause of the left and of atheism.
Well, hang on. Wait a minute. Is being loyal to a cause mean that you have a religion?
Yes.
I really like chocolate.
If you're loyal to your mother, Peter, does that mean you worship your mom? I mean, like, what's the logic there?
Well, look, Doug. Look. Can you be convinced that you're wrong?
Of course. I mean, I wouldn't say of course, because maybe somebody would disagree. But I would like to think so.
So what would convince you that you're wrong?
What would convince me that I'm wrong? And when you say wrong, you mean the truth of Christianity specifically?
Yes.
Okay. Well, do you have time, Peter? Because there had to be quite a bit. It also depends on what we mean when we're talking about Christianity, because Christianity is contains a subset of different claims, and other Christians believe in some of those claims. Some Christians don't believe in those claims. You can make Venn diagrams of all the Christians that believe in part of those claims and none of those claims. Now, some of the apologists will say, well, what about the basics? AKA, Jesus was the Son of God and he rose from the dead. Okay, so if we're just going to talk about that, I have to know that there is a God that you could even be son of, but also just, is there a God in general? And also the possibility of said Son of God being able to rise from the dead. What would that look like? What's the probability there, if there is any? And what are the mechanisms by which we could describe that to happen? And if there are none, then I would have to at least want to see something, or at least have some method by which I can believe. Because right now, it's just a story to me. And it's just a story that people have been saying over and over again. And I can't work with just a story. I have to have more than that.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I'm so convinced that. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for me, like it's simple in the idea that the God already failed. It's infallible. It knows any way that would convince me, and it chose to make me 2,000 years removed from the events. So that fault is not on my shoulders. Right. So, yeah. So if you want to convince me, you'd have to make me. I'd have to actually be there for the events to know that it happened.
Yeah.
I can't just hear anecdotal tests. I just vehemently deny that people's conviction is justification. It's just them saying, "I'm really convinced this is true." That's not enough for me.
Yep.
So if you're so sure that Christianity is wrong, why are you spending so much time trying to debunk it?
Well, Peter, have you ever watched the show? Because we answer these things, but really it's because there's so much harm in the world that Christianity has brought historically. And we don't just talk about Christianity, by the way. We talk about any belief system that we find to be problematic. But Christianity has really, 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 really hurt people. And unfortunately, not enough people want to talk about it because they're afraid of looking like bad people for criticizing Christianity. And we want to try to remove that stigma by saying you're not a bad person for criticizing it, but also in that you can be a good person without God, that you don't need Christianity at all to live a good life and to live in a healthy society. And so somebody has to do the work, Peter. We're just people who are interested in doing that.
Well, gentlemen, I disagree with you because without any kind of belief, if you go with humanism, you end up with chaos. That's exactly what's happening now, such as the vaccine mandates. If you believe that freedom is given to you by man,
what?
Man can take it away.
Wait, Can we go back? What does wait?
People are willing to surrender.
No, Peter. Right? What does vaccine mandates have to do with humanism? What is the connection there?
Because the connection is that your freedom is given to you by God. If you believe that God doesn't exist, it means that your freedom is given to you by man. If man gives you your freedom, that means you believe he has the right to take it away from you. And when he does that, you won't protest.
Hold on, Peter. None of this is relevant to whether or not whatever claim is true. Like you're appealing to consequences, which is a fallacy, right? Mm-hmm. Appealing to like let me put it this way: like there are people that don't like what's called determinism, right? The idea that like you wouldn't have free will. There's a prior cause all the way down that you're out of control. You're essentially out of control of. Now, some people look at that for like moral implications and go, well, this would be absurd. Like, what would be like the implications of like whether or not I, actually did some action, beyond my control or not? Should we punish people? Right? There's all these considerations, but it's just entirely irrelevant to whether or not it's true. So appealing to like the consequences of like, if we appeal to man or humanism, this will happen, is not saying anything about the justification on whether or not God exists or whether or not it doesn't exist. So it's just like obfuscating from what your call is about, presumably, which is why we don't believe in that. I'm trying to track you there because I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Okay, what if God himself came down right in front of you and told you that what's happening now is wrong? Would you believe that?
Well, if God's infallible, God can just make me. God would know exactly what to do to make me convinced in it, and I would believe in it. So I don't. That's not happening. That hasn't happened. So
but it'd be a start.
I could just say, what if God was real? Okay, then he was real, right? But like we're not there.
Yes.
I don't know what like hypotheticals in the future will do. Given that like it's just not the case now.
So you're telling me you honestly don't believe in anything?
I believe in a lot of things.
Yeah, we didn't say we didn't believe in nothing. Atheism is not the belief in nothing.
Then what is it?
In fact,
atheism is, depending on who you ask, some consensus of a definition is that we have a lack of belief in gods, or God in particular, the Christian God, but gods also in general.
Everyone has a God. You just choose to believe the God of man.
Peter, you can believe whatever you want, my friend. That doesn't make it true, okay? Because you have me and Jmike sitting here telling you that is not the case. We're describing our own belief or lack thereof, and you're just denying it at this point.
And Peter,
if you have compelling evidence, Peter, that says that we actually do believe in a God, I'd love to hear it. But right now, this is just a nuh-uh kind of argument.
Yeah, you gotta understand, Peter. Like the way it comes off, like your intellectual honesty is piss poor when you come in to a call inquiring about something, and you just tell the people on the show what the fuck they believe in, right? That's just extremely disingenuous, right?
Yeah.
Because if you actually cared, you would ask me. But if you've already decided what I believe, or what beliefs I don't have or do have, I don't even care to have a conversation with you. You can just pick what I believe, because hold on, Peter, because clearly me explaining to you won't matter to you because you've already decided what I believe, right?
Yeah. And here's the thing, Peter, you've been asking a lot of questions. It's just been question after question after question after question. And I don't think you've really given us a genuine response to any of our questions or any of our points. So I'd love to hear a response to what Jmike just said. And maybe you can prove to me that you're actually listening to this conversation besides just asking questions. So do you have a response to what Jmike just said?
What did Jmike just say?
Exactly. So we're going to drop the call because that's it. You're not even wanting to have a conversation with us. What you want to do is preach to us and make a point saying, oh, you guys are dumb. That's it's really what you're trying to do. You're just trying to make us look bad by saying,
yeah, I would,
you can't.
I'd have him go back and look at that, because what I was calling you out on was being disingenuous and deciding what we believe. And then you didn't even care to listen to what I was saying, proving my fucking point when you go out, what did he say? So if that is not evidence that you do that, like you literally just demonstrated all the evidence I need in the claim. Like I already had evidence in the claim that you were dishonest with that. Now we've just added more evidence, but
yeah. Look, I am willing to give the time of day and patience to a lot of people. All right. More so than what some would say is healthy. But if you just demonstrated to me that you're not even engaged in this conversation, you're not even listening, then it really is just a waste of my time and a waste of Jmike's time and a waste of everybody's listening's time. So if you're out there and you're still not convinced by what me and Jmike has to say, that's fine. But at least listen to us when we have a conversation with you so that we can try to get somewhere, because that wasn't going anywhere right there. That was just question, response, question, response, question, response. We get this a lot on these shows where people just want to try to get their dig in and then see what happens. But didn't really work this time.